Okay, so let's talk circles. If you look at my graph, you can see I've already graphed a circle here using this equation in red. This is the basic equation for a circle. The x and the y are going to stay x and y, and the r represents the radius of the circle. So you'll get more into this equation in Algebra 2 to learn the ins and outs, but for now, you just need the basics, and this is the basic. Again, the r stands for radius. If you look at my circle right here, radius is the distance from the center out to the edge. So from 0 out, you can see it's 1 unit. That's why my slider here, r equals, is set to 1. If I make this bigger, my circle gets bigger. If I make it smaller, my circle gets smaller until I get into the negatives, which is a different story. So let's say I want it to have a radius of 4. That means, again, radius of 4, it's going to go from here out. It's actually going to have a diameter of 8. We can show you that. So radius of 4, all the way out there like that, big old circle. Now, you don't have to use a slider with r in your line project. You can actually just put the value in that you want. So let's say you want just a little circle. You want to have a radius of 0.5. And type in 0.5, make sure it's all being squared, and you can see that this has a radius out to 0.5. You don't even need a slider anymore. So instead of having an r, you can actually put the value that you want for the radius. Okay? Now, that's great. Now you know how to make a circle, you know how to make it the right size. But what you might be interested in is how to move it to a different location on the graph. So I'm actually going to just get rid of this, and let's talk about moving the circle. So you'll see this equation up here that is now green, and it looks a little bit more complex, but it's really the same basic equation, just some stuff added on. So we have the x squared, we have the y squared, we have the radius squared here. I went ahead and made it a 2, just so that we have something that's consistent. But then I have this h and the k added in. They're both being subtracted. You'll, again, learn more about this later, but this just basically shows the transformation of a circle, really translation to be specific, because you're able to slide it around. But let's say that I wanted to move this to the left. Any value that's moving left and right deals with the x. So we're going to go ahead and focus on the h here. In fact, I'm going to actually switch these. So the h deals with my x movement, left to right. So if I increase it, notice it moves to the right. If I decrease it, it moves to the left. Okay? Up and down, that deals with the k. Again, look at my slider here for k. If I move it to the right, it goes up. Move it to the left. For smaller numbers, it goes down. So let's say you want a specific point. Let's say you want a circle at a center of -2, 3. I'm going to put a point here so we can see what our goal is. We want to have a circle at this point. Well, that means this -2, the x value of your center, needs to be plugged in for h. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start typing this up, x minus. Well, if I want to put the -2 as my h, we've got x minus -2. That's actually plus 2. Okay, then we're going to square it. Plus, start with the y. I want to have it at a +3 for my k value, right? So putting a 3 there, that's still y minus 3. We don't have to change anything. We still have to make it squared. And that equals the radius that I want. Well, let's say I don't want a radius of 2. Let's say I want a radius of 3 this time. So I put 3 squared, and there is my big old purple circle. Okay? So again, the center point, whatever center you decide on, gets plugged in for h and k, making sure you're considering the negatives, seeing if you need to change anything to a plus sign. But your center gets plugged in for h and k. Your radius is adjusted with r. You can plug it in just like I did here, or you can use sliders. Whatever you would like to do is up to you. Obviously, the easiest way to accomplish this is to play around. If you feel like your circle's too big, then that's probably the radius issue. If you feel like it's too far to the left or right, then that's an h or a k issue. Let your teacher know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to help, and we're excited for you to put some circles into your graph.